going to be going over how to get multiple aircraft failsafe set up on your OpenTX EdgeTX radio, along with multiple Betaflight builds. So I have aircraft 1 and aircraft 2 here. End state is going to be when we toggle this rocker switch. We will be toggling between quad 1, quad 2, and optionally quad 3 if you have 3. In our case, you will not only be toggling between the controls for the aircraft, so one will receive arm commands, one will not. You will also be toggling the video transmitter on and off. That is enabled by this Maytech H743 flight controller. This also applies to any other flight controller that has a built-in VTX power switch. Additionally, you can use what's called a pit switch and wire it up externally. That is a separate video, however, that functionality does still work. You will want to make sure that you can turn your video transmitter on and off when you have this set up, though. Otherwise, you will be dealing with a lot of interference issues. So, what you'll need, obviously, your aircraft 1 and 2, your radio controller, anything that uses EdgeTX, OpenTX, anything like that is going to be almost identical here. Then you'll need laptop, Betaflight, USB-C cable, and anything else you need to power your aircraft on for testing. Now we'll get into Betaflight and start doing the very simple setup for it. Alright, we are now in Betaflight with one of our aircraft here. So, what we're going to have to do, we're going to look for 2 modes. We're going to look for the failsafe mode, and then just toggle a range for it on your radio. Not going to worry about the switch position for it just yet, we'll come back to it. And then we're going to look for the user 1 mode if you're using a Maytech H743 or other similar board. And again, toggle a switch, just assign what aux channel you want to use. Make sure it's the same one as your failsafe channel. So, the way that the Maytech boards work is anytime that this user 1 position is on, when you save it, anytime that yellow tick mark is in those yellow bars, the VTX will be off. So that means that we want in position 1, which is the position this aircraft is going to be marked as, we want the VTX to be on in position 1. So we're going to cover everything except for that position where 1 is, at 980 or so. So that means that our video transmitter, you can see that small red light, video transmitter is currently on and booting up. And then when we go to failsafe, we're going to do same deal. We're going to cover everything except for 988. So, what failsafe does, it is going to completely disable your aircraft. It's going to act as though there is no receiver hooked up, no transmitter bound to it. You will have no arm input, no stick input, no anything. Anytime that this switch is outside of position number 1 up at the top, or whatever position you assign it to, it is going to be disabled. So, as an example, we will save, we will disconnect. Now, this is just with 1 aircraft. However, we are currently in position number 1. VTX is on. Aircraft will arm when I toggle the switch. Now, as soon as I rock this to position 2, watch the VTX light, cuts off, so video transmitter is now completely off. Additionally, my arm switch does nothing. Aircraft is going to pretend that it is completely ignorant to any and all commands because we're telling it to be in failsafe. Same goes for this bottom position, same goes for any position of the switch except for the one where you have assigned to be not in failsafe and for the video transmitter to be on via the modes tab. Back in Betaflight on our second vehicle. This is the one we have not configured yet. We have our radio again, and we're going to do the same thing as we did the first time, except we're going to have to add 2 ranges since we're using a middle position for our switch. So, same deal, we're going to add a range for failsafe. Toggle your switch that you want to use. Up, down, up, down. So, aux 3 is selected for the failsafe mode. And then this time, we're going to box out everything except for the middle position at 1500 because that is where we want our non-failsafed position to be. So we'll add a range and then we'll drag it to the other side. And so now at either end, position 3, it is in failsafe, and up at the top, it is failsafed. The only time it is not is in the middle. So you'll save, and then now we'll go down to your user 1 mode, add a range, again toggle aux number 3, And now, same deal, you will add yet another range and then drag it so that it is out on the outside edges. Same concept as before. We're just blocking out the range that you want your VTX to be toggled off in. Make sure you do these on the same position on your transmitter, so VTX and failsafe should be in the same PWM position at 988, 1500, or 2011. Otherwise, you can do this for up to 3 aircraft super easily. You can also do more, again, with those 2-stage switches. Quick demo, you've got your aircraft and your radio. They're both set up in Betaflight. This is aircraft number 1, so anytime that our rocker is in position 1, it will arm, and our video transmitter, you can see, is powered up with that green light. Anytime I rock it to position 2, it will now disable this aircraft. I can no longer arm, and it will enable your secondary aircraft. Your video transmitter will cut on if this was plugged in, and you will be able to arm and fly away. Again, when it's in position 2, I'm unable to arm, give any control to it. As soon as I toggle back, though, I can rearm. VTX cuts on. With DJI, you will have a slight boot up time because it's like you're plugging the aircraft in for the first time. That is the main caveat with the Vistas, air units, all that. Analog video transmitters do not have that issue. HD0 as well as a near instantaneous boot. But that is how you set up your rocker switch so that it is a kill switch for your aircraft and a toggle between them, as well as your video transmitter.